Please be seated. Jai. Well, friends, a very warm welcome to you for this Smart Money Seminar 2022 organized by PIFAA, that is Pune Investment and Financial Ambassadors Association. My name is Harshvardhan Bhusari and I am the immediate past president and currently one of the directors. I will be your host for today evening. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and that too on a Saturday evening. We will ensure that it is a time well invested. We are doing live streaming of the event on YouTube and Facebook. I cordially welcome all of our friends who are watching this live in different parts of the country as well as world. We will have a small inauguration ceremony by lighting the lamp. I invite our distinguished speakers for the evening to please come on the dais. Mr. Chandraprakash Padiyar, Senior Fund Manager, Tata Asset Management. Mr. Avnish Bhatnagar, Vice President and Co-Head Retail Sales, Franklin Templeton Asset Management, India. Mr. Krishan Sharma, Vice President and National Lead of Training, HDFC Asset Management. And request the leadership team of PIFAA to join that stage as well. Please. Applause, please. Thank you. Thank you. May I request all the dignitaries to please be seated in the auditorium? Yeah, take a photograph and then dignitaries. Thank you so much. So I hope this lighting of the lamps brings a lot of positivity into the markets as well. We believe that investor awareness programs are the stepping stone for investors of all types, that is the seasoned ones as well as the newcomers. These programs help any investor basically to become more mature. Remember, listening and adhering to wisdom from these expert speakers has always to be the preferred choice. It helps investors to differentiate between noise and the things that matter. It is because of these reasons that such investor awareness seminars are an essential need of the society, and we hope to create informed investors through these programs. Now just see how different quotes connect the dots. Warren Buffett had said that risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. Risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. Whereas Robert Arnott, a famous American investor, has said that in investing, what is comfortable is rarely profitable. Now, Warren Buffett has again said that the most important investment you can make is in yourself. Now, if you analyze these quotes, all in all, it simply means that people sitting in this auditorium or watching it on YouTube or Facebook are actually investing their time, isn't it? So it is PIFAA's endeavor to bring to you the best of speakers to help you take smart decisions regarding your money matters with the help of these smart money seminars. Just to inform you about the event flow for today's evening, we will begin with a welcome speech by President of PIFAA, Beena Shetty. Our first speaker for the evening will be Mr. Chandraprakash Padiyar, followed by Mr. Avnish Bhatnagar, and then Mr. Krishan Sharma. I am sure that all of you will be getting some huge value addition by attending this seminar. So I now welcome the President of PIFAA, Ms. Beena Shetty, for her address, just an introduction of PIFAA and all things which we do. Can we have a round of applause for her, please?
Thank you, Ashruta. Greetings, everyone. I want to start this evening by sharing with you a profound quote. You can make a million excuses or you can make millions. As we meet today, what an excellent investment of time and business relationship, don't you think? On behalf of the PIFAA core team, I would like to extend a great deal of gratitude to our esteemed speakers, Mr. Chandraprakash Padiyar, Mr. Avnish Bhatnagar, and Mr. Krishan Sharma, as well as our wonderful audience, our AMC friends, and our dear PIFAA members. PIFAA, an association of mutual fund distributors, CFPs, and registered investment advisors, was founded in July 2011. Our mission is to create awareness and the importance of wealth for all sections of society. Training being our primary focus, we have been organizing various events and training programs by roping in the asset management companies to create financial awareness. PIFAA was founded with three main ambitions in mind. To begin with, we need to get the mutual fund distributors on a single platform to find solutions to our varied needs and queries and update our knowledge. Our team meets and talks to all the leading fund managers, CEOs, and the top management in the industry regularly, along with keeping ourselves up to date about regulatory developments. Secondly, we strive to provide the regular communication with PIFAA to ensure that AMCs are aware of the needs of the MFD community so that the industry can grow together with the MF distributors. Additionally, different procedures are simplified so that they are applicable and acceptable to all the AMCs. Last but not the least, we wish to focus on the investor education and awareness in addition to reaching out to the broader investor community. PIFAA has more than 200 programs over the past 10 years. PIFAA has organized more than 10 IAPs throughout the years, and the people of Pune have responded to them overwhelmingly. For its members to grasp and maintain morale in these erratic, turbulent markets and to comprehend and manage the behavior and psychology of investors, PIFAA has hosted a few motivational seminars by well-known speakers from and around Pan-India. Last year, PIFAA webcast all its IIPs live all over the world, which got more than 10,000 hits every time and a lot more after they were put on YouTube. PIFAA has got our hair for the IIPs. We are proud of these milestones and are extremely happy to share it with you as you have been a part of these milestones and our journey so far. We have a long way to go, but the beginning has been fantastic, and I'm sure the journey thereon will also be equally exciting. Collaboration is the key, and we must continue to be guided by our mission daily. Let us make honest efforts to keep our knowledge updated and safeguard the interest of PIFAA members, in addition to creating awareness and importance of wealth for all sections of society. Reaffirming our commitment to making PIFAA a name synonymous with ethical behavior by expanding and developing as many folios as possible under the umbrella of mutual funds, as well as establishing Pune as the mutual fund city. Let's revisit our mission at PIFAA to leave a lasting imprint on the lives of people in general. Learning is not a destination, it's a continuous process. Success in any area requires a commitment to lifelong learning. At PIFAA, the goal has always been to foster collective fraternal progress, which would ultimately benefit the investor. While taking part in the numerous seminars on technical skills, life skills, practice management, and other topics, peer-to-peer learning will go a long way towards improving the fraternity. Due to the time and trust we have invested in building our relationships over the last few years, the PIFAA members have a unique link with one another. The lockdown had restricted us to limited resources, but the online sessions have been a great blessing. The in-person counters were greatly missed even as the learning went on. I'm pleased to present development in the peer-to-peer learning, our project, the PIFAA Chaupal, a bid to highlight the PIFAA members who can enliven, inspire, lead, influence, and encourage the fraternity. The roots of all goodness lies in the soil of appreciation for goodness. PIFAA is dedicated to raising investor awareness. Reward and recognition are among the finest methods to inspire each member. The PIFAA Achievers Awards given to the PIFAA members with an AUM of 100 crores or more are univocal proof to this. In our sincere opinion, the PIFAA members will be encouraged to pursue greatness. Additionally, it will make our members stand out and serve as an example for others. A flourishing world may be created by informed investors and an updated investment and financial ambassador. We continue to be passionate about raising financial literacy and promoting the value of saving money as well as investing that money to achieve a wide range of financial objectives. We genuinely think we must be there for our customers and their families while assuring wealth generation and a smart asset management. We look forward to becoming our customers' mentor and guide as they work to live meaningful lives and use their money to benefit their families and communities. This is notably true for individuals who are unsure how to manage their wealth and finances. And we are those financial experts who can play a key role in the client's life. Try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud, and we are that rainbow for you. Thank you so much, and a happy Navratri to all of you.
Thank you, President Bina. Let's move to our first speaker. And I request the PIFA Secretary, Santosh Pardeshi, to please introduce him. He is going to talk about the most frequently asked question, market kya lagta hai? He will talk about the current market outlook. Over to Santosh.
Chandraprakash Padiyar joined Tata Asset Management as a senior fund manager equities in September 2018. Chandraprakash previously working with the Alchemy Capital Management Private Limited as a portfolio manager for the onshore long-only strategy. Chandraprakash has over 21 years of experience in research and fund management. He began his career in equity research analysis at UTI Mutual Fund, and his time was designation fund manager, overseeing the mutual fund schemes. Chandraprakash is an MBA Finance from the Symbiosis Institute of Business Management affiliated to the University of Pune, and has cleared 3 levels of CFA program from the CFA Institute of United States of America. Over to Prakash.
Presentation, please. Presentation, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you, PIFA, to invite us from Tata Mutual Fund, and thank you so much, investors, to join us in large numbers for this event. Normally, हम लोग as equity fund managers, since I am a fund manager, equity investor हैं, तो generally हमेशा तेज़ी में रहते हैं, मूड हमेशा पॉजिटिव रहता है, and this is normal because हमारा काम ही तेज़ी है. अच्छा मार्केट होता है तो सबको पैसा बनता है, सबका अच्छा रहता है, बट वेरी फ्यू टाइम्स, बहुत कम टाइम ऐसा आता है जब हमारे प्रेजेंटेशन में हम थोड़ा सा नेगेटिव बोलते हैं. एंड दिस इज़ माई टॉपिक फॉर टुडे, विच इज़ फासन योर सीट बेल्ट्स, विच इज़ आप कार में बैठे हो, सीट बेल्ट लगाएंगे तो अगर एक्सीडेंट होगा तो आप बच जाएंगे. एंड इन द एनवायरनमेंट वेयर वी आर इन टुडे, एक्सीडेंट्स काफ़ी हो रहे हैं, एंड इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट I take you through the risks that you can see in the markets over the next, or let's say in the next near term. मेरे बाद मिस्टर शर्मा हैं जो 2047 का ओवरव्यू देंगे कि इंडिया 2047 में कैसा लग सकता है. तो लॉन्ग टर्म में तो सब पॉजिटिव है, हम भी वी आर वेरी पॉजिटिव. सो आई विल नॉट टच अपॉन दैट आस्पेक्ट. मेरे प्रेजेंटेशन में मैं लॉन्ग टर्म की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. टुडे my objective is to tell you what can be the potential risk for equity markets in India. And एक सवाल मेरे मन में भी बार बार आता है, और शायद से आपके दिमाग में भी आया होगा, कि पिछले 1 साल में पैसा क्यों नहीं बना है. मार्केट्स हर कोई, if you read न्यूज़पेपर्स टुडे, या आजकल व्हाट्सएप पे बहुत सारे मैसेजेस आते हैं, ट्विटर पे बहुत सारे मैसेजेस आते हैं कि इंडिया स्टैंड्स आउट, इंडिया इज़ वेरी गुड, इंडिया इज़ द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट इकॉनमी, फास्टेस्ट इकॉनमी इन द वर्ल्ड. उसके बावजूद ये साल, पिछले 1 साल से पैसा क्यों नहीं बना है. बहुत, एंड दीज आर, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड उसके लिए what are the factors that contribute to equity market returns and कहाँ risk आता है, कैसे आपको थोड़ा सा सोच समझ के चलना चाहिए, and which is what I intend to present. But before that, I want to show one slide, and this is my favorite slide. मैं जहाँ पे भी जाता हूँ पहले ये present करता ही करता हूँ, which is this one. And this is the long-term history of Indian markets, 1990s से लेके आज तक. इधर दुनिया में बहुत कुछ हुआ है, इंडिया में भी बहुत कुछ हुआ है. In 1991 और early 1990s, for example, हमको पता है we had to take loans from global markets. We were a so-called basket case. हमारे पास forex reserve नहीं थे. We had to give our gold reserves as a security to get money. And then we had an Harshad Mehta scam and Ketan Parekh scam and 2008 जहाँ पे financial crisis happened in the world. So हम वो सब देख चुके हैं. And उसके बावजूद, so markets have always been like this, ऊपर नीचे होता रहता है. But ultimately, people have made money. One lesson from this slide is, and which is why 2047 perspective is very important for you all, वो ज़रूर सुनिएगा, that long term, if you have patience, if you take a very long term view, पैसा तो बनता ही है. मतलब there is it's a risk reward is in your favor. Equity markets is one of those instruments where you can beat inflation. Ultimately, why do you invest in equity markets? और आप invest करते ही क्यों हैं? The biggest objective of investing is that आज आपके पास अगर 100 रुपये हैं तो उस 100 रुपये का वैल्यू हर साल कम होता है क्योंकि इन्फ्लेशन आता है. तो उसको कैसे आप उस इन्फ्लेशन को आप बीट कर सकें ताकि जो खर्चा आपका आज 100 रुपये हो रहा है 5 साल 10 साल बाद अगर 200 रुपया होने वाला है तो आज का 100 रुपया कैसे आपको 250 रुपया दे ताकि आपका सेविंग्स भी हो और साथ साथ में खर्चा भी मिल सके. दिस इज़ वाई यू इन्वेस्ट. एन equity market as an asset class is the best way to beat inflation. And this is why I want to highlight this slide, that if the longer horizon that you take, the better your risk reward is. आपको loss नहीं होता है, आपको gain होता है. Having said this, I want to present to you the short term view. Market क्या लगता है, आज का क्या लगता है, अगला 1 साल 2 साल 3 साल क्या लगता है. And that is what I want to highlight to you. So let's start with this. Now, आप लोग ने सबने आजकल क्या चल रहा है? Today, what you see today is a world where the largest economies in the world, which is US, did very well between 2020 and 21. But हम लोग क्या है, अधिकतर लोग भूल जाते हैं, शॉर्ट टर्म देखते हुए we forget that pre-COVID, and आजकल हम लोग प्री कोविड और पोस्ट कोविड डिस्कशन करते हैं क्योंकि 2019 तक इफ़ यू लुक एट द डेटा ऑफ यूएस इकॉनमी, यूएस मार्केट वाज ऑलरेडी स्लोइंग डाउन. उनकी ग्रोथ इन द इकॉनमी वाज समथिंग लाइक 1.5%. सो वो पहले ही स्लो हो रहा था. फिर 2020-21 आया जहाँ पे कोविड आया. सो वहाँ पे सरकार, वहाँ की गवर्नमेंट ने बड़ा स्टिमुलस पैकेज दिया. वहाँ पे लोगों को फ्री चेक्स बांटे. अनलाइक ये इंडिया में पहले होता था, बट दिस टाइम डेवलप्ड मार्केट्स में हुआ, वेर यूएस गवर्नमेंट गेव लॉट ऑफ फ्री मनी टू देयर पॉपुलेशन. कितना फ्री मनी? सो मच सो दैट इन देयर बैंक अकाउंट, हाउस होल्ड सेक्टर बैंक अकाउंट, टोटल डिपॉजिट्स इन द बैंकिंग सेक्टर फॉर पॉपुलेशन इन द यूएस went to as high as $2 trillion from a level of something like $400 billion. So 5 गुना ज़्यादा पैसा बैंक डिपॉजिट में आ गया क्योंकि खर्चा कोई कर नहीं रहा था, क्योंकि कोविड था. तो कोविड में घर से बाहर ही नहीं निकलते थे कुछ टाइम, तो 6 महीना 1 साल, तो खर्चा नहीं था, साथ साथ में पैसा आ गया बैंक अकाउंट में. तो उसमें होता ये है कि जब पैसा आ जाता है किसी आदमी को, एंड प्लस व्हेन द इकॉनमी स्टार्ट्स डूइंग वेल, आप खर्चा करने लगते हो. जब जॉब मार्केट बढ़ता है तो आप और ज़्यादा खर्चा करने लगते हो. सो इन 2020, 21 एंड 22, द करंट ईयर, you are seeing a benefit of large stimulus by the government in the US, and plus साथ में US Federal Reserve, which is the central bank of in the US, cut interest rates and gave lot of liquidity in the market. पैसा फेंका. मैंने एक चीज़ सीखा है 22 साल में, that अगर आपको equity market का view लेना है तो आपको हमेशा पैसे ट्रैक करना चाहिए. How is money supply moving? What is the cost of money? अगर if you can track this data point, it can give you a very good indicator of where equity markets will behave, because one is fundamental, which is how businesses are doing, but the other is sentiment. Sentiment पैसे से आता है. When money is moving, free money is moving, ज़्यादा पैसा हो सिस्टम में, cost of money is low, तो सबका मूड अच्छा होता है. मूड अच्छा होता है तो दो चीज़ें होती है. एक तो रियल एस्टेट में लोग डालते हैं. सो इफ़ यू नोटिस, between 2015 and 2021, US, Europe, UK, Canada, Japan, most developed markets, including China, every market in the world saw real estate prices booming, significantly going higher. घर हो या ऑफिस हो, सबका भाव बढ़ गया. They were at all time high. क्यों? क्योंकि पैसा बहुत ज़्यादा था सिस्टम में. गवर्नमेंट फिस्कल डेफिसिट वॉज हाई, विच इज़ गवर्नमेंट स्पेंडिंग बहुत ज़्यादा था. साथ साथ में इंटरेस्ट रेट कम हुआ, पैसा एंड दी मनी सप्लाई वेंट अप. द सेंट्रल बैंक गेव अ लॉट ऑफ मनी सप्लाई इन द सिस्टम, एंड देयर वाज दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट जो 2008 से चल रहा है, विच इज़ 0% इंटरेस्ट रेट. एवरी लार्ज सेंट्रल बैंक इन द वर्ल्ड has, after 2008 financial crisis, has been saying that we want to create demand. वो बोल रहे थे हमको इन्फ्लेशन चाहिए, भाव बढ़ाना है, डिमांड क्रिएट करना है ताकि इकॉनमी ठीक कर सके. एंड दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंड बिटवीन 2008 एंड 2022. कम टुडे, एंड आई विल कम टू लेटर ऑन, बट सेम टाइम पे इंडिया ने इतना स्टिमुलस नहीं दिया. हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने, what did our government do in between 2020 and 22? We said स्टिमुलस देने से फ़ायदा नहीं होता है. What I'll do is जिस सेगमेंट को तकलीफ़ है, जैसे होटल्स को तकलीफ़ है या बैंक्स में कुछ लोन नॉर्मल, क्योंकि हम घर से बाहर नहीं निकल रहे. हमारे यहाँ लॉकडाउन हुआ था फर्स्ट फेज़ ऑफ कोविड में, तो जिसने लोन लिया है बैंक से, उनको आप मोरेटोरियम दे दो. मोरेटोरियम का मतलब है कि अगर आपको आज पे करना है तो 1 साल बाद या 2 साल बाद पे करो. तो एक टाइम लिमिट दे दो ताकि आपको स्ट्रेस नहीं आए. जब आप वापस कमाने लगोगे, जब आप जॉब में जाओगे, तो यू कैन स्टार्ट पेइंग. सो आवर गवर्नमेंट सेड दैट वी विल नॉट गिव स्टिमुलस, बट वी विल गिव देम रिलीफ from paying interest and from paying principal on their loans. This is what we did. But most of these central banks in the developed markets gave stimulus. And because of that, hum kahan hai aaj? So what happened is, when a lot of money in the system, demand went shot up, हर चीज़ का डिमांड बढ़ गया. उसमें क्या हुआ है, between 2020 and 22, फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम एक एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. हमारे यहाँ ये प्लाईवुड कंपनीज सारी हैं. वी आर वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट होम इम्प्रूवमेंट के लिए प्लाईवुड. जस्ट अ स्मॉल एग्जाम्पल, बट इट्स अ गुड एग्जाम्पल टू गिव. Demand shot up in the US, and all of these companies started exporting to the US. But the problem was, and this is not one point, but there are many sectors where demand shot up significantly. Inventory in the system went down. Normally, in the US market, a particular company keeps an inventory of something like 40 to 80 days in inventory in their system. ताकि demand अगर आए तो they can meet that demand properly in no time. But because demand shot up in a very short period of time, inventory went to zero, and you wanted more demand. You wanted more goods. तो उसमें क्या हुआ? कंटेनर अवेलेबिलिटी खत्म हो गया. शिपिंग रेट शॉट अप सिग्निफिकेंटली. शिपिंग इंडेक्स नॉर्मली जो $2,000 पर TEU होता था कंटेनर में, द नॉर्मल इंडेक्स लेवल वेंट टू एज हाई एज $12,000 to $15,000 इन अ 1 year पीरियड. बिकॉज शिपिंग लाइन, आपने उस टाइम पेपर में पढ़ा होगा, 2020-21 में मीडिया में आता था कि शिप्स ही अवेलेबल नहीं है, कंटेनर ही अवेलेबल नहीं है, क्योंकि वो सारे चाइना से यूएस जाता था. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब इज़ चाइना. सो चाइना से यूएस जाता था, यूएस पोर्ट में अटक गया क्योंकि पोर्ट से निकल ही नहीं पा रहा, इतना डिमांड हो गया. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट, what happened is that because companies realized that आज हमारे पास, and by the way, between 2020 and 21, nobody hired people. लोगों ने लोग लेना बंद कर दिया कंपनी ने, क्योंकि उनको लगा दुनिया तकलीफ में है. सो वाई हायर? इंडिया में भी ऐसे हुआ. इनफैक्ट कुछ जगह लोगों को निकाला भी गया. एंड when demand shot up after the first wave and second wave of COVID, लोगों की कमी हो गई, तो people started hiring those same people again. But it came at a higher cost. सेम लोगों को ज़्यादा सैलरी दे के लेना पड़ा. इनफैक्ट लोग मिलना बंद हो गए. सो आज की तारीख में इवन टुडे लास्ट मंथ्स डेटा टेल्स यू that for every job in every 2 jobs in the US, there is only 1 person available to take that job. Job market was heating up significantly in the US. Same with Europe, same with Japan, not Japan so much, but Europe and US at least it was similar, including India तो कुछ time के लिए हुआ था. All of this means that when jobs are more than what supply is, inflation shoots up. Every commodity shoots up because your capacity to buy things goes up. So जब भाव बढ़ने लगता है किसी चीज़ का, तो normally US central bank, which is US Fed, will want to lower the growth in the economy. So पिछले 6 महीने से जो हम सुन रहे हैं या देख रहे हैं, is that inflation in the US has gone to more than 8%, which is an almost like 50-60 years back का data देखो तो this is a very high level. And because of that, today what is happening is that the US central bank is saying मैं interest rate बढ़ाऊंगा. So they have started increasing interest rates. Plus they have now announced QT. So what they are saying is पहले मैं bond market से खरीदता था, अभी मैं bond बेचूंगा. So पैसा मैं market से लूंगा. So they are moving money out of the system. Now just to remind you, my learning in the last 22 years is follow the money. Money, cost of money, money supply. And this is what I am highlighting that आज की तारीख में central banks in the world, like US, are saying, I will move money out of the system. So पैसा खींच रहे हैं market से. पैसा कम हो रहा है. And for example, there are economies like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Turkey, Africa, many parts of Africa, including United Kingdom, as recently as last week that we saw, dollar की कमी है. Dollar नहीं मिलता है and all of these economies are dependent on imports. So जो import ज़्यादा करता है उनको तकलीफ है. So जिस economy के पास forex reserves ज़्यादा हैं, जैसे इंडिया के पास थे between 20 and 22, हम लोग बचे हुए हैं, हम लोग बहुत अच्छे दिखते हैं. But जिस economy ने अच्छे टाइम पे अपना प्लानिंग नहीं किया, उनको आज तकलीफ है. और तकलीफ बहुत ज़्यादा है. और तकलीफ कहाँ से आता है? करेंसी से आता है. करेंसी डेप्रिसिएशन बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है. कहीं कहीं फॉर एग्जांपल नाइजीरिया today has a currency, has a one particular rate of currency to a dollar, but the gray market currency rate is 30 to 40% lower actually. It's just that dollar available ही नहीं है तो आपको दिखता नहीं है. But the real impact in the economy is very high actually. And so these are the problems in which we are in today. Plus you have this Russia-Ukraine war or conflict as they say. And because of that, energy prices have gone up, gas prices बढ़ गए हैं. हमको इतना तकलीफ नहीं होता है, थोड़ा बहुत होता है, but यूरोप को बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, especially Germany. Germany is a very large manufacturing hub for many engineering goods, capital goods. अगर price of gas goes up, उनका cost of production goes up. In fact, मुझे याद है, मैं 22 साल से when I'm doing research, मैं companies से मिलता हूँ, तो मुझे जब भी मैं किसी Indian entrepreneur से मिलता था, between let's say 2002 and 2015, अगर आपको याद हो, between that period, बहुत सारी इंडियन कंपनीज ने यूरोप में एक्विजिशन किए थे. वो एक्विजिशन इसलिए होते थे कि यूरोप वाज द ओनली प्लेस जहाँ पे एक तो जो वहाँ के जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, जो प्रमोटर्स हैं, जिन्होंने कंपनी चला रहे हैं बरसों से, दे वर गेटिंग ओल्ड, बूढ़े हो रहे थे, और उनके जो बच्चे थे, दे डिड नॉट वांट टू टेक ओवर द कंपनी, उनको वो काम नहीं करना था. सो इंडियन कंपनीज सेड दैट हमको अपॉर्चुनिटी दिख रहा है, हम वहाँ जाके खरीदते हैं. सो दैट वाज अ ट्रेंड अर्लियर. बट आज क्या हो रहा है, बिकॉज गैस प्राइसेस हैव गॉन अप इन जर्मनी, एनर्जी प्राइसेस हैव गॉन अप, वही एंटरप्रेन्योर जो बूढ़े हो रहे थे अभी और बूढ़े हो गए, उनके बच्चे काम नहीं करना चाहते हैं. सो पहला तो दे ट्राई टू सेल, बट आज की तारीख में बिकता नहीं है बिजनेस, तो बंद कर रहे हैं. सो बंद करते हैं तो क्या होता है, वन कॉम्पिटिशन फॉर इंडियन कंपनीज गोज अवे. A very large, so I will come to the positives later, but there is one positive in all of the other, that is Germany for you, which is Europe. Businesses are getting deeply impacted and manufacturing is looking to shift from Europe to somewhere else. People want to source from somewhere else, and one of these somewhere else is India. China has had a very, very skewed policy, both monetary and government fiscal, where they were propping up real estate in China. वहाँ पे ज़मीन जायदाद का भाव बहुत बढ़ा between 2008 and 2018, 10 साल तक लगातार. वहाँ पे उनकी government is too much dependent, or government revenue is dependent on real estate taxes. और आज, and it went up to so high levels, and leverage in the system went up. Today, the situation after COVID, they also have a COVID problem, plus the government wanted to shift their economic profile from investment to consumption. हमारे यहाँ देश में, we never had investment, we never had manufacturing. So हमारे यहाँ, हमारा देश started from services and consumption. It was a de facto growth. But in other countries, it was a planned growth. For example, China planned large investments in infrastructure, planned large investments in manufacturing. They gave a lot of subsidies to manufacturing. Even today they give, but it is coming down. And because of those subsidies, manufacturing in China boomed. And their cost of manufacturing came up. Scale बढ़ता है तो cost कम हो जाता है. And hence they became a manufacturing hub for the world. But their problem was, वो सब leverage में हुआ. Subsidy loan पे होता है. So when you do too much of it on loan, ultimately तकलीफ होता है. So we've reached a point in this year and the year after. It also came, and unfortunately COVID भी आ गया, but government started changing their economy from 2018. उनको नहीं पता था COVID आ जाएगा, but they started saying that अब हमको investment पे dependent नहीं रहना है, हमको consumption driven चाहिए. So they said अब investment पे खर्चा नहीं करेंगे, loan कम करेंगे, but consumption. So they wanted to slow down their economy. But COVID came and that impacted them even more. So today they have a real estate problem. जो leverage पे बड़ा था, आज जो हमारे यहाँ 2018 में हुआ था, for example, आपको याद होगा, ILFS is a typical example where they defaulted, Diwan Housing defaulted in that year on their loans. These were a real estate problem. Many builders in India went to jail in 2018-19 because real estate companies were not doing well and they had a problem. So which is where RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority, came in by the government to stabilize the real estate sector. China is going through something like that today. बहुत ज़्यादा लोन था उनकी कंपनीज में. They have now started defaulting. Banking sector को तकलीफ होने लगा है. And these are all things that, so one more thing that I want to say is that COVID में, what we have started seeing is that today we have started seeing almost, when I meet multinational companies today like Siemens, ABB, don't want to take names, but all these multinational companies, 22 साल से मैं मिल रहा हूँ. और हमेशा मुझे बताया जाता था कि इंडिया में उतना ही इन्वेस्ट करेंगे जितना इंडिया में डिमांड हो, थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा इन्वेस्ट करेंगे ताकि हम थोड़ा सा एक्सपोर्ट कर सकें. तो 10% ऑफ सेल्स यूज्ड टू बी एक्सपोर्ट्स, बाकी 90% कैपेसिटी उतना ही होता था इंडिया में जितना इंडिया में डिमांड हो. व्हेन आई मीट देम टुडे, दे आर सेइंग नॉट ओनली इंडिया डिमांड इज इंक्रीजिंग, but they are saying my exports as a percentage of sales will go to as high as 40 to 50%. They already reached many companies have reached 25 to 30% of sales of exports. So why is this happening? It is happening because till last year or till this year, early part of this year, सारी companies in the world used to rely on China for sourcing everything. China was the manufacturing place for everything. हमारे इंडिया में भी सब कुछ बनता था, चाइना से ही आता था. Today, companies are saying efficiency इतना important नहीं रहा, उतना जितना हमारा continuity of business is important. Because पिछले 2 साल में everybody's business got disturbed because चाइना का फैक्ट्री बंद हुआ बीच में. आज भी बंद है बहुत सारी जगह. So जब बंद होता है ना, तो और प्लस इन्वेंट्री कम है, सिस्टम में सप्लाई चेन डिस्ट्रप्शन है, freight cost went up, shipping containers availability went down. So we are in this world where manufacturing is shifting from China, Europe, and it is coming at a time when हमारे government, our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, realizes that this is the time to get this shift, advantage of this shift that is happening in the world. So आपने देखा होगा production linked incentive government ने announce किया है, $25 billion का investment हो रहा है अगले 2 साल में, including last year, so 3 साल में. Lots of jobs are getting created. In fact, अभी हुआ नहीं है, ये फैक्ट्रीज सारी 2024 में आने वाली अधिकतर. So आपको jobs 2024 से आने दिखेंगे, manufacturing space में भी. But these are the positives. Negatives, let me start with the negatives. And this is something that you should keep in mind. So on the one hand, I'm saying long-term invest करिए, positives बहुत सारे हैं, manufacturing है, services है, IT sector doing very well, so businesses will do well. So if you invest for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, no problem at all. You will make money. Even I think that way, and I invest my own personal money in equity markets through mutual funds, and it's a good route to invest. But let's look at the risks for the next 1-2 years. Now, this is something that I highlighted is, पहला चीज़ मैं बता दूँ, इंडिया में 2020-21 में एक चीज़ बहुत बदल गई थी, which is that if you remember COVID wave 1, wave 2 जब हुआ था, so crude का भाव 0 भी हुआ था, if you remember, commodity prices crashed, steel, aluminum सबके भाव गिर गए थे, and कोई घर से निकल नहीं रहा था because लॉकडाउन भी था, so कोई खर्चा नहीं कर रहा था. So उसमें हुआ ये है कि बैंकिंग सेक्टर में बहुत ज़्यादा डिपॉजिट चले गए, क्योंकि हम खर्चा नहीं कर रहे थे तो बैंक्स में पैसा डाल दिया. सो बैंक्स पैसा डाल दिया तो बैंकिंग सेक्टर के पास बहुत ज़्यादा सरप्लस लिक्विडिटी हो गया. एंड ऑल्सो बिकॉज वी वर नॉट स्पेंडिंग, वी वर नॉट इम्पोर्टिंग मच. सो जब हम इम्पोर्ट नहीं कर रहे थे, हमारे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपोर्ट कर रहा था, सो आवर ट्रेड डेफिसिट came down. In fact, these are 2 years, 2020 and 21, where we were, for some time, we were trade surplus. बहुत कम समय ऐसा होता है इंडिया में जब हम सरप्लस होते हैं. वी एक्सपोर्टेड मोर, वी इम्पोर्टेड लेस. ऐसा होता नहीं है इंडिया में. वी आर अ इम्पोर्ट डिपेंडेंट इकॉनमी बिकॉज 90% ऑफ आर क्रूड गेट्स इम्पोर्टेड. क्रूड का भाव बढ़ता है तो हमको तकलीफ होता है. सो ये सब हमको पता है. बट उस साल में, उन 2 सालों में, बिकॉज दैट ऑफ व्हाट हैपेंड, फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स वेंट अप सिग्निफिकेंटली. सो आर फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स वेंट अप टू ऑलमोस्ट लाइक $650 billion. Huge numbers. And for the first time in our history, forex reserves from a number of months of import perspective went to as high as 15 months of imports. We were extremely strong. And because of that, and plus along with that, हमारे liquidity in the system went very high. Bank daily, on a daily basis, banks क्योंकि लोन नहीं ले रहा था, कोई खर्चा ही नहीं कर रहा था 2020-21 में, सो लोन नहीं ले रहे थे, तो लिक्विडिटी इन द सिस्टम वाज वेरी 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 लूज. 8 लाख करोड़, 7 लाख करोड़ एवरी डे बैंक्स यूज टू पुट बैक, गिव बैक टू द आरबीआई कि ज़रूरत नहीं है तो आप वापस ले लीजिए. दैट वाज द सिचुएशन. कम टू टुडे, एंड दिस इज द रिस्क दैट आई सी. योर फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स हैज ऑलरेडी कम डाउन टुवर्ड्स, एंड दिस इज 1 हफ्ते पहले का डेटा, 2 हफ्ते पहले का डेटा है. 551 डाला था, अभी 537 हो गया, तो और कम हो गया. So $537 billion is where we are as of yesterday, which is slightly less than 9 months of imports. By the way, just to show you in the slide, the next slide, import cover of 9 months. अच्छा 2014 के पहले का नहीं है डेटा, but we were, whenever we come this close to import cover, there is a risk of 1, liquidity tightening in the system, and 2, currency depreciating if there is spike in commodity prices. So this is the first risk that I want to highlight, is that we have come to levels जहाँ पे RBI will not be actively be able to support the rupee to the dollar. अभी तक आपने notice किया होगा. In fact, in the previous slide I highlighted that Indian rupee has depreciated by, उसके बाद और depreciate हुआ है, but 10%. But most currencies in the world depreciated more than the Indian rupee against the dollar. So हमारा currency actually has been the best performing currency in the recent times. वो इसलिए था क्योंकि RBI was using this currency to protect the rupee from depreciating. It could do that because बहुत ज़्यादा reserves थे. But आज की तारीख में reserves कम हो गए. So you should keep this in mind. और ये होता है कि the other thing is liquidity, and this is something that I highlighted. 2021 में every day RBI used to was giving, or banks were depositing 7 से 8 लाख रुपए every day to RBI. आज की तारीख में demand for loans has gone up, so banks have started growing. Credit growth in the system is 15% plus. तो लोन लेने लगे हैं लोग, अच्छी बात है. But the resultant impact is that the liquidity has gone down to negative levels. 2 हफ्ता पहले का positive था, but now it has come down to negative levels. So it's just a data point. I'm just highlighting that what can go wrong. I am not saying it will go wrong. I will come to my conclusion later on. The third thing, and this is an important point to highlight, is that gap between US 10-year yield and Indian 10-year yield. Hamara 10-year yield is 735 or 740 in that band. US has gone to 4%. In the past historical averages, हमारे 10-year bond yield और US 10-year bond yield में 4 से 6% का gap रहता था. We are today at 3.3%. 3.3% is the lowest that we have seen in the last 12 years, or more actually, 13 years. How does it matter? जब gap कम होता है, so बाहर से लोग Indian bond में डालना बंद कर देते हैं या नहीं डालना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ average rupee depreciation to dollar over the last 22 years is something like 3-4%. तो अगर gap ही अगर 3% से कम का है या 3% का है, so मैं US bonds में डालना चाहूँगा rather than the Indian bonds. This is happening in many global markets. आपने notice किया होगा, Japanese yen, the Japanese currency, in the last 1 year has depreciated from 110 to 145. Why is it happening? वो इसलिए हुआ है क्योंकि in Japan, the central bank there is saying मैं rate नहीं बढ़ाऊँगा, मुझे rate उतना ही रखना है. So they have kept rate at 0. In fact, they are saying जिसको बेचना है yen bonds, मैं 25 basis point पे खरीदने के लिए तैयार हूँ. So they are the buyer of the last resort. So उसमें क्या होता है, when US interest rates are going up, सारा पैसा बाहर निकल जाता है, क्योंकि सब अपना बॉन्ड बेच के चले जाते हैं, क्योंकि सबको लगता है करेंसी नहीं रुकेगा, सो करेंसी डिप्रिशिएट होगा तो मैं अपना पैसा क्यों रखूँगा. सेम थिंग कैन हैपन हियर. दिस इज अ रिस्क. आई एम नॉट सेइंग इट्स अ बिग रिस्क, बट it is one of those factors that you should consider, and I'll come to my conclusion later. But just to highlight, bond yield difference is lower today. Our non-oil, non-gold exports, जो कि 2020-21 में बहुत अच्छा कर रहे थे, ग्लोबल ग्रोथ स्लो हो रहा है. जस्ट जो मैं बताया आपको, यूएस स्लो डाउन में है, चाइना स्लो है, यूरोप में तकलीफ है. सो ग्रोथ स्लो हो रहा है, एंड धीरे धीरे हो रहा है. ऐसा नहीं कि आज ही पूरा जोर से गिर रहा है, बट धीरे धीरे हो रहा है. मुझे लगता है अगले साल थोड़ा ज़्यादा स्लो डाउन होगा. तो जब स्लो डाउन ज़्यादा होता है तो हमारे एक्सपोर्ट्स को थोड़ा फ़र्क पड़ता है. हम अभी भी ग्रो कर रहे हैं, बट ग्रोथ थोड़ा कम हो जाता है. सो एक्सपोर्ट्स ग्रोथ हैज़ स्टार्टेड स्लोइंग डाउन अ बिट इन रीसेंट मंथ्स. ऑन द अदर हैंड, बिकॉज डिमांड इन इंडिया इज स्ट्रॉन्ग, इम्पोर्ट्स ग्रोथ कम नहीं हो रहा है. सो इम्पोर्ट ग्रोथ अभी भी स्ट्रॉन्ग है. उस कारण से योर ट्रेड डेफिसिट गोज अप सिग्निफिकेंटली. सो विच मीन्स दैट हम और ज़्यादा डॉलर पे डिपेंडेंट हो जाते हैं. हमको और ज़्यादा डॉलर चाहिए, क्योंकि हम इंपोर्ट ज़्यादा कर रहे हैं, एक्सपोर्ट कम कर रहे हैं. तो उसको इंपोर्ट को कैसे सस्टेन करोगे? पैसा मंगाना पड़ता है, डॉलर लेना पड़ता है. सो यू हैव टू मेक योर सेल्फ अट्रैक्टिव. हाउ डू यू मेक योर सेल्फ अट्रैक्टिव? वन इज ग्रोथ, तो अर्निंग ग्रोथ है, बिजनेसेस अच्छा कर रहे हैं, तो इक्विटी मार्केट में पैसा आएगा. बट फिक्स्ड इनकम मार्केट में आई हाईलाइटेड, गैप इज नॉट वेरी हाई. Gap is only 3.3%. You need to make yourself attractive, and we'll see how. So your trade balance is likely to be $275 billion minus. उतना पैसा चाहिए. And so one good thing is हमारे यहाँ FDI is very stable. $38 billion net FDI साल का होता है. वो इस साल शायद से ज़्यादा होगा actually इस साल, but we have kept it at the same number. So current account deficit, as I was saying, is very high today. I have given data from 2014 till now. This year is going to be extremely high because crude prices spiked up. And because of that, balance of payment for the first time after many years will be a negative balance of payment here. $15 billion negative होगा. So $15 billion तो चाहिए ही चाहिए बाहर से. वो कैसे आ सकता है? RBI बोल रहा है, or the government is saying actually, is that Indian government securities will be part of global bond indices soon. अगर वो हो गया, which is a likelihood, हमको भी लगता है हो जाएगा, so gradually there can be a $15 to $30 billion fresh inflow over the next 12 months. So there are positives also. ऐसा नहीं कि government is not planning for it, but I am only highlighting you the risks that can be there over the next 12 months. So to conclude, what am I saying? I am saying that अभी तक 2019 से लेके 2022 तक सब कुछ इंडिया के फेवर में था. हमारे पास बहुत सारा फॉरेक्स रिजर्व था, लिक्विडिटी वाज वेरी गुड, ग्लोबल ग्रोथ वाज गुड, सो एक्सपोर्ट्स वर बूमिंग, इंपोर्ट्स भले ही बढ़ गया पर हम सब अच्छा कर रहे थे, बिजनेसेस वर डूइंग वेल, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग शिफ्ट वाज हैपनिंग, सो हमारे कंपनीज अच्छा कर रहे थे. Growth in earnings was very strong on a low base. Everything looked very good. Come today, the last thing that I want to highlight, one more thing actually, and then I'll come to my last thing. This is a time where fiscal deficit of center and state put together is high. It is not low, which means that capacity of government to spend money is not very high. So government चाहेगा भी तो खर्चा करने में थोड़ा तकलीफ है क्योंकि fiscal deficit is high. If you spend more, then you create more inflation. If you create more inflation, then interest rates will grow much higher. Otherwise, your currency can depreciate. So you cannot have everything on your side. So you are also coming at a time, these risks are building at a time when fiscal deficit is on the higher side. So capacity of the government to spend money is not very high over the next 1-2 years. And mind you, I am only talking about the next 1-2 years. Long term की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, long term अच्छा है. And lastly, valuations. There is an important point. On an overall basis, see हुआ ये है कि दुनिया के markets चले नहीं हैं या कि गिर गए हैं और हम चल गए हैं. So उसमें for example that chart, or actually that chart, MSCI India, the right hand corner chart, top right hand corner chart shows you that MSCI India on a 5-year and 10-year basis has given a 12% CAGR return, whereas emerging markets have been either flat or negative over the last 5 years and 10 years. So हम लोग बढ़ते गए हैं, but दूसरे market गिर गए हैं या flat हैं. Because of that, the lower chart, the left hand side lower bottom chart shows you that हमारा PE is 24.8 times trailing. I'm only talking about last 1 year earnings. Whereas emerging market PE has gone to 11 times. In fact, पिछले एक हफ्ते में और गिर गया market, so around less than 11 times. So gap बहुत बढ़ गया है. वो बढ़ना भी चाहिए था कुछ हद तक क्योंकि हमारी companies are growing, उनकी companies are likely to decline in profits. So ऐसा नहीं है कि ये gap नहीं होना चाहिए था. But it is just that when macro data becomes risky or risks increases, your reward also goes down. Your absolute valuations are not very high. Nifty, for example, today on a consensus earning estimate basis, traded something like 18-19 times 1 year forward. So not very bad. Historically, we have been 16-17 times. तो बहुत ज़्यादा महंगे नहीं हैं. But because दुनिया सस्ता हो गया है, तो हम relatively बहुत महंगे दिखने लगे हैं. So that is also one point that you should consider. So to conclude, I would say that last 1 year you have not made money. Markets have not gone anywhere. Nifty Sensex is flat or minus 1-2% in the last 1 year. My personal opinion is, and I can be wrong on this, very difficult to give you short-term views. But my personal opinion is that in the near term, given that there is this high gap in valuations plus macro data is a bit increasing from a risk perspective, maybe the near term, the next 1-2 years, markets will need to consolidate. And which means that don't expect too much returns in the near term, which is the next 12 months, but do invest with an SIP, STP route. Lump sum, I don't think lump sum makes sense today, but do invest with a SIP, STP route and take a long-term view. Long-term remains good, and I'm sure Mr. Sharma will give you a very good insight on what can happen by 2047. So with this, I will conclude my presentation, and thank you so much for being a good audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chandraprakash ji. I would now request Praveen Kulkarni and Kunal Narle to come forward and felicitate Mr. Chandraprakash. They both are our PIFAA members. Sridhar. Can we have a round of applause, please?